this will be my review for Night of Champions. Yes. Which was tonight. I was kind of looking forward to this show, but didn't really turn out to be that great of a show. Very skippable show, I would say. Extremely skippable show. Nothing that could have been great was great. This was definitely missing a great match. If this had a great match on it, it'd probably been a way better show, but had nothing great on it, so it was just kind of a there show in my opinion. And we had lots of I don't know, this show was weird. We started the night off with Dolph Ziggler taking on Kofi Kingston. A pretty good match. I thought they did a good job with everything, with the Vicky storyline. Had a lot of things going on, but I do think it kind of worked. They teased Vicky getting involved, and then Dolph telling her don't because you get me disqualified, and then I'll lose the title, and then Dolph winning anyways, which that kind of bugged me. But overall, it was a pretty good match. Okay opener. I wouldn't say a good opener, but it was an okay opener. Then we went to CM Punk versus Big Show. CM Punk came out to a huge ovation, cut a really good promo, and then jobbed to Big Show, which was just, I don't get that. I don't understand that. Punk kind of needed this and then didn't get it, so who knows. Big Show came out. What they did for what they were doing was okay. It wasn't very long, but it was a pretty nice little, big man taking on little man match, particularly with the little man being a heel. And eventually Punk got knocked out, and that was it. And there we go. Then we had The Miz versus Daniel Bryan, and this was a really good match. This wasn't. I thought maybe Daniel Bryan, would be able to maybe pull out a great match out of The Miz, but basically, I think for that to happen, I think Daniel Bryan would have had to been on offense more after watching that. Still was a really good match. It still, I think, delivered. I think this was as good as maybe everyone could have hoped, especially for an Intercontinental match. They gave it time. They let him go out there. The crowd was dead through parts of it, but they got the crowd into it. And when they finally started going for the near falls, the crowd was really, really into it. Miz's little NXT guy did get involved twice, and which was okay because he was out there the whole time. You knew he was going to get involved. He got involved. This wasn't like in the main event where we had people get involved, and I was just like, what the hell? But anyways, still a really good match. I think it did its job. It got Daniel Bryan over just a little bit more, and just really good stuff, I thought. And then we had Melina versus Michelle McCool. I'm giving this a negative star. Why? Because not only were they not good in the ring, even though they tried, but the Lumberjills on the outside were horrible as well. This was just a bad match by WWE standards. This was not good, even for Diva standards. This was not good stuff. Bad. Then we had the semi-main, I guess is what you would call it, Kane versus Undertaker. Was maybe a little better than I thought. Still wasn't very good. Taker just is, they did a lot of brawling and eventually got old. It wasn't anything we hadn't seen before. I still thought it was good, but not great. And it needed to and which was okay if other stuff on here had been great, but you didn't have anything else on here great, which just kind of hurt it. So it was what it was. Kane did go over, which was kind of interesting, and I guess that will lead to Hell in the Cell with no blood, which, that's the only time I really gripe about the no blood thing, because that just seems stupid to me. Then we had the Tag Team Turmoil, where it was basically a tag team gauntlet. The Hart Dynasty started with the Usos, and then Hart Dynasty lost right away. And then, let's see, who did we have come out after that? I can't remember. Let's see, we had the Usos come out. Let's see. Okay, we had, Hart Dynasty, then we had the Usos. I think after the Usos, it was Mark Henry and Evan Bourne came out to a pretty big pop. It was pretty interesting. They got a pretty good pop. They won. At some point, Santino and Kozlov were out there. I think they were against the Usos too, and they lost pretty much right away as the team. And then we had Henry and Evan Bourne taking on Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes, which was okay. This was good. It wasn't anything horrible. You know, it was pretty good, not great, but it was just kind of, again, there was a lot of just there on this pay-per-view, which isn't good. Then we got the main event, which was, I would say, very good. Some of the booking was kind of strange to me. This is one of those times where it's like, did you not realize what you have going on in this match? We had Chris Jericho. He got beat right away. They played up him getting beat. Edge lost, which I'm not really, I don't think Edge has really been the same since he came back. Then we had a pretty prolonged thing. We had Wade Barrett looking pretty good. Eventually NXT came down. This is what I was talking about. When they came out, this didn't need to happen in this match, in my opinion. Just didn't need. But, Barrett did wind up pinning John Cena. Then Barrett got RKO'd, which I was kind of upset with. I really think he should have at least lasted last. Or particularly after pinning Cena. That just seems weird. Why would you let him, even if it was a double team and all of that stuff, why would you let him pin Cena only to then get beat right away? That was kind of weird. Then Orton beat Sheamus to a pretty good pop. The crowd was definitely into Randy Orton as the match went on. He won. They were happy. It was all good. It was all what it was. Not a great pay-per-view, just an okay pay-per-view, I would say. And just a barely okay pay-per-view. I would, this is teetering on a bad pay-per-view, but I think there was, you know what, this was a bad pay-per-view. I'm just gonna say it. This is a bad pay-per-view. This was definitely a bad. It wasn't a horrible pay-per-view, but it was a bad pay-per-view. This is not the type of, stuff. This isn't even like what I would expect from the WWE. This was a bad WWE pay-per-view. So, there we go. That's my review. As you can tell, I'm not really happy with this pay-per-view. Not a lot happened. Maybe one of the highlights was actually Del Rio doing, all of his skits all kind of one. I guess they figured that the people turning in who don't watch SmackDown would kind of get this. I would definitely say that perhaps it looks like finally somebody's going to get your wish. When SmackDown goes to Sci-Fi, it looks like we're finally going to probably get, no more brand extension. It's just going to be guys on SmackDown and guys on Raw, which I think will, at this point in time, will be better because you don't have enough over guys to really have the brand extension now, unlike you did even 2 years ago, I would say, or even a year and a half ago. So there we go with that. But that's pretty much my review. What would I give this? I guess I would give this a 6. I'd give this a 6 on my scale. So there we go with that. Not a good pay-per-view. Not a good WWE pay-per-view. Just not. And I thought this could at least be a good pay-per-view. Didn't think this would be great, but I did think this would be good. And in what we got. So with that, I'm out. Later.